Hey, what's up? It's Chad Altman doing a video today to talk to you about resentment. Chances are, if you click this, you're looking for a way to get to a point where you can resolve resentment that's inside of you. Or maybe you've been dealing with it for such a long period of time that you really just don't know how to escape it. Well, that's exactly what today's video is going to be about. Today, we're going to be talking about different ways to look at resentment and ways that you can heal it. First and foremost, I wanted to tell you that you have to look at resentment as being okay. I can't tell you how many times in my life I have been completely upset with myself for the way that I have felt. Judging myself just in the thought process, being angry with myself that I have a feeling about a certain way, or not being able to get past a certain stage in my life and being so upset with myself that I'm still there. All of our emotions are completely normal and they're completely okay. So if you have resentment, first is to forgive yourself and realize it's okay to have resentment. Now the next step is we have to start to look at things from an outside perspective. Sometimes when we get involved in a resentment, we can never get to the other side of it. We are completely stuck in it. Sometimes the raw negative emotions that we have so much, we can completely not be able to see anything from the outside. We're not able to see the situation for sometimes what it really is because we can only see our side of the story. That too is okay, and that too is normal. But we have to get to the point where we actually allow ourselves to look at things a little differently. And that means we have to have a new perspective. And sometimes the best perspective is to be able to look at something from the outside as like a third-party viewer of the situation. Maybe you just look at it as an innocent bystander that doesn't have any emotions or stakes in the resentment. So looking at it from the outside allows us to have a different perspective. And then what we have to do is we have to allow ourselves to have that little empathy. And this might be tough. It might be tough to have empathy when you're in the deep-seated feeling of resentment. But if you try with the outside perspective to look at the situation, if you try to look at it through the lens of maybe the other person and see maybe the way that they're feeling. This was hard for me. I can't tell you how hard it was to be at the hands of neglect or abuse and try to look at things a little differently. And don't get me wrong, there might be situations where there was zero part. I can't tell you, like I was sexually molested when I was a child. And at some point in my life, I had this deep-seated resentment. And you know what? It was okay to have that resentment. But having to look at it from an outside perspective and having empathy in the situation, I was unwilling to do, and that's okay. You don't have to. But the difference is you don't need to hold on to it, because what happens with resentment, even if it's justified, is we are literally allowing this corroding fabric to just enter into the rest of our sweater of life, so to speak. So we can't allow resentment to allow us to take over our whole entire life and affect all the future relationships that we come in contact with. Because what we're really doing is ruining our ability to love, our ability to grow, our ability to give people other chances. We create blanket statements and we box people in when we allow resentment to go into all the other areas of our life. So what we really have to do then is, after we have empathy in these situations where it can be harnessed and it can bear fruit, is we allow that to take place. And then another step is we have to forgive. See, forgiveness allows us to be free ourselves. We do not forgive the other person for them. We actually forgive them for ourselves, to allow us to remove blocks between us and the source energy that we need in our life. We have to take away the blocks to get to the highest version of ourselves. We have to remove the blocks to vibrate at the highest energy in which we desire. And you can't get there if you have hatred and resentment in your heart towards another human being. See, we have to be free. We have to be set ourselves free. And that process is forgiveness. And that means we have to forgive even if there is zero desire to reconcile any kind of relationship with the person. We have to. Now, the last step is, if you don't feel like you can get there on your own and there is some deep-seated wounds inside yourself, the first step is to find a coach to get you there. Find a coach that can help you unlock these pathways and these blocks so that you can get to the highest version of yourself. And last also is if a coach is something that you don't feel can really get to that traumatic core, then you have to go to see a therapist, a licensed clinical professional, so that you can really get through some of the brute force of this traumatic experience to unlock this within inside of you. And once you unlock the awareness and you're able to see it and get through it, then maybe you go to coaching, or then maybe you start this process for yourself. And last but not least, one of the most important things that is for everything in life, I believe, is gratitude. If we start having gratitude for the relationships that we do have, if we start having gratitude for the simple things in our life, and we harness and we continue to fuel the gratitude fire, so to speak, what happens is we're able to let go of some of these resentments and the things that don't serve us. We're able to free ourselves to get to that high vibrational energy that we want, where we can start to attract all the things that we desire in our life. Do me a favor, hit the like button, and as always, subscribe to my channel for amazing content coming out every single day. And as always, I love you guys. Stay blessed.